Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Martial Artist Reborn is Kenichi Shirahama. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Quick update. The series What If Reborn in Highschool DxD is a Lucifuge, and What If a Venerated Soul Reincarnated in Danmachi world will be going on hold soon, since we've nearly caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these three fanfics. What if creating the strongest Strawhat crew by reading manga? What if Reincarnated in Bleach as Toshiro Hitsugaya? What if hosting Q&A in One Piece world? Please vote in the poll and let me know which two stories you'd like to see next. I'll take the top 2 picks and start working on those series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 201, Truth of the Day. Calm down, Shizuha, we will deal with him when the times come, but first we have to find me soon and your husband. He has already suffered long enough, said Elder Hayato. That's right, Saiga doesn't know that Shizuha is alive and he will continue to punish himself for her death if he doesn't know about it. Akasame stated. No. I can't let that happen. We have to find him and tell him the truth, said Shizuha. On the side, Mio was smiling while crying as she thought, my father isn't a bad man, he didn't abandon me, he wasn't the one who tried to kill mother. While the masters were discussing about how to find Saiga Furinagi, Kenichi was sighing in relief as Shizuha had forgotten about him and was now focusing on her husband. Well, at least the heat is off me, he thought, and just continued to listen to the adults' conversation. Why don't we speak the news that I, Shizuha Furinagi, daughter-in-law of Hayato Furinagi, wife of Saiga Furinagi and mother of Mo Furinagi, am alive? With this news spread, it won't take time for it to reach Saiga-san's ears, suggested Shizuha. Well, yes, it will reach to the ears of Saiga Furinage, but it will also reach to the ears of Sensui and his Kirimasego clan. Since you are the only one who knows that your murder attempt was done by Sensui and not Saiga, he will try to silence you so that it does not reach to the ears of the rest of the clan, explained Kensei. Then let him come, it's not like I am afraid of him. The last time he successfully attacked me because he was wearing the face of Saiga and I had my guard down against him, that's all. Moreover, does he have the guts to attack Ryozanpaku, stated Shizuha. No, he doesn't have the guts to attack Ryozanpaku, but the thing is you don't have the strength what you had before your coma, Akasame stated bluntly. What? Shizuha asked, to which Akasame only used an index finger of his right hand to push Shizuha, making her almost fall down the ground if not for Mio holding onto her. See? It will take you quite a time if you want to regain the same strength that you had in your prime, and for that time we can't spread the news of you being alive to make you a target, Akasame explained. But then what other way do we have to find Saiga-san? I want to meet him and I want him to meet our daughter without feeling guilty about it, stated Shizuha as she held onto Mio's hand. We all are masters in our field and we have our contact network. If we try to use it, maybe we can find some information about Saiga Furinagi, stated Kensei. Yes, that's the most valid option that we have. Elder Hayato nodded his head in agreement. And if that doesn't work, then we can use Shizuha-san's option only after we make sure that she has fully recovered and regained her original strength, stated Akasame. Okay. But can you tell me how much time it will take for me to regain my original strength, asked Shizuha. That will only be known after we know how strong you were in your prime, stated Kensei. Well, I was a grandmaster the last time I checked and I could easily destroy a large boulder with a single kick if that helps, stated Shizuha. Then I and Kensei will return to you after we devise a plan for you to regain your strength, said Akasame as he and Kensei left the room towards their clinic. Ah, this is too much headache, I am going out to buy a beer, said Sakaki. Apachai wants a hamburger, said Apachai as he followed Sakaki. After the 4 men left the room, only Elder Hayato and Kenichi were the men left in the room, and since Elder didn't had anything else to say, he also excused himself. You all talk, I have some other work to do. Don't think that I will so easily forgive you, grandfather. You didn't told me about my mother, and that's something I am not going to easily forgive, Mio stated while looking at her grandfather. Elder Hayato nodded his head in acceptance as he knew Myo won't forgive him so easily, but he was ready for it. He left the room, leaving Kenichi the only man in the room, making it more awkward for him as he wanted to go as well but couldn't go due to his body not responding to the commands of his mind. Okay, Kenichi Shirahama, I am sorry for forgetting about you when I came to talk to you, Shizuo said as she also sat on the tatami floor with Mio still by her side. No, it's alright, you were discussing something more important and I am totally fine with it, replied Kenichi with a smile to look more charming. Though with his body being supported by 3 beautiful and voluptuous girls doesn't help him in looking charming but more of a harem king or something. Thank you for understanding. Now I have come to know that you are in a relationship with my daughter along with those 2 other girls, but it's quite clear that those 2 aren't the only ones you have, Shizuo stated. Yes. Shigure is also my girlfriend along with Siko, Myo, and Renka, but there are 2 more girls whom you haven't met yet, Kenichi replied. Oh, so many girls. Are you trying to be a harem king or something? Asked Shizuo, now genuinely surprised. No, I am not. I would never force myself on a girl if she doesn't like me, and they all know that I am not actively look for women, so. Kenichi explained the situation but then became silent as he himself didn't know how many girls he will end up with. Is that so? Would you girls mind leaving me alone with Kenichi Shirahama? There are some things that I will like to discuss with him in private. Chapter 202, Shizuo's Gratitude. Is that so? Would you girls mind leaving me alone with Kenichi Shirahama? There are some things that I will like to discuss with him in private, said Shizuo. Mother, asked Myo. Don't worry, Myo, it's not like I can do anything to him. You know I don't even have the strength to do anything even if I wanted to, Shizuo said to Myo, hearing which she nodded her head then signaled to the rest of the girls. Siko and Renka understood what she meant, but Shigure didn't, so as the other 2 let go of Kenichi's shoulders, she still supported his back but her hands grabbed onto his shoulders, meaning she supported him with her bountiful chest. Shigure-san, called out Myo. Shigure voiced as she looked at Myo. Let's go out for a minute, mother needs to talk to Kenichi, said Mo, explaining the situation to Shigure. Okay, said Shigure, but before leaving the room she dragged Kenichi towards a wall of the room so that he can use it as a support to sit. Thank you, Shigure, said Kenichi as he smiled at Shigure. Shigure blushed and nodded her head in acceptance with a smile, after which she left the room, leaving Kenichi alone with Shizuo Furinagi. After everyone had left the room, Shizuo stood up slowly and walked towards Kenichi. When she was 2 feet away from him, she sat on the tatami mat on her knees and bowed her head. What? What are you doing? Said Kenichi in surprise. Thank you. Kenichi Shirahama, said Shizuo, bowing her head while still on her knees. Firstly, please stop it. You are Myo's mother, so even if there was any need for it, you don't have to thank me. Secondly, what did I do for you to thank me in such a way? Asked Kenichi. You don't have to play with me, Kenichi. Before I regained my consciousness, I met the reincarnation goddess and she told me everything, asked Shizuo. Huh? What? Kenichi said in surprise. Yes. She told me that I was supposed to die, and because of your wish I was given a second chance to be with my family. At first I didn't know why you would do something like that when I don't even know you, and why you would let go of a chance like that, but after I came here I got to know that you were dating my daughter along with some other girls, but that didn't matter to me. What mattered was for my daughter's happiness you decided to bring me back instead of gaining more power, and there can be nothing else you can do to prove how much you love my daughter. Hence I promise you that no matter whether my husband and father-in-law support you or not, you will have my unconditional support with your relationship with Myo, Shizuo explained as she raised her head with gratitude clear in her eyes. Reincarnation goddess met you? Asked Kenichi to make sure that he heard right. Yes, replied Shizuo. And she only explained the reason for your revival, that's all right? He asked the next part of his question. Yes. Is there anything else that needs to be known? Shizuo said. Nothing much, just a task given by reincarnation goddess to me, that's all, Kenichi said, but that's not important. You said you were going to support me with my relationship with Myo. Of course, after all you have already done the deed with my daughter, so there is no way she will think of anyone except you. So instead of being against the relationship I will support you both fully, replied Shizuo with a smile. Thank you, I am sure Myo will be very happy to hear that, replied Kenichi with a smile. That she will, Shizuo said as she smiled as well. Okay, we should call the girls in. I am sure they must be dying to hear what we talked about, Kenichi said. Yeah, but I can't tell anyone about my meeting with the reincarnation goddess except you, and only you can decide whether I should talk about it with others or not, Shizuha said. Well, I don't think there is any need for us to tell others about it. We can keep it to ourselves for now, and if a need arises we will tell it to others, said Kenichi. Okay, we will do as you say, said Shizuha. Mayu, Renka, Siko, Shigure, come inside, shouted Kenichi so that the girls can hear him. Kenichi! Mother, have you talked to each other? Mio said, opening the door. Following her, Siko, Renka, and Shigure entered the room. Yes, we talked and your mother quite liked me a lot, replied Kenichi. Really? Mio asked in surprise. Yes, Mio. I really like Shirahama, Kenichi, and you have my full support in your relationship with Kenichi, stated Shizuha. Thank you, Mother, said Mio as she hugged her mother tightly. Kenichi, tell us, what do you want to eat today? We are going to make food that you like, said Siko with a smile. Really? Then I want to eat steak. It's been a long time since I last ate steak, said Kenichi. Okay, steak it is, Siko said, then looked at Mio. You talk with your mother, Mio. I, Renka, and Shigure will take care of food for everyone today. Thank you, Siko, Mio stated. Don't mention it, Siko said. Then she, Renka, and Shigure left the room to make dinner for the rest of the Ryozanpaku member. For 2 days straight, Kenichi regained his ki while his masters experimented on his body to make him regain his body strength, which was successful but really painful for Kenichi as well. Going through all of that, Kenichi was seething in anger and said, "Fuck, just you wait, the moment I surpass them, I am gonna fucking kill those masters of mine." Chapter 203, Shinpaku Alliance Training. It has been 2 weeks since Shizuha woke up and Kenichi was back to his normal schedule, except for the fact that he was going on a date with his girlfriends every single day. One day it was with Siko, on another day it was Mio, then Renka, then Shigure, then Kaname and Kazara. Like this, he was going on a date with his girlfriends, but still, he was having fun with them. But that's not all he was busy doing. His masters were really pushing him to the limits, specifically his master Akasame, who made his restraints weight 1,000 kilograms now and even made new leg weights for him, each weighing 50 kilograms. That means he now carried 200 kilograms dead weight on his body and still had to perform regular tasks along with his training with his masters. One more surprising thing he found out was that Yukita has started coming to Ryozanpaku every day to learn jujitsu from Master Akasame. He didn't even know that he was coming here for more than a month because Master Akasame would always take him somewhere else to practice. During this week, Ryozanpaku also decided to host the children training camp for martial arts. But Najima had already taken care of it. At a certain dojo. Few didn't think this would be this popular, exclaimed Tsutomu as he looked out into the dojo yard. Indeed, the yard was filled with children ranging from ages 4 to 7, all yelling and playing with each other. This does help with the income, nodded Tayo as she cuddled with her daughter. Kiri is starting to get big and eating a lot more, aren't you? Kiri giggled as Taya began playing with her, letting Tsutomu take the reign of the class. Next to him were 2 disciples of Zanshin, Taishiryu, Kurando, and Ketsu. They volunteered to help in the dojo as instead protecting someone from the shadows. This was much easy, and they would even have time to train and ask Tsutomu and Taya for advice if they needed some. At the Shinpaku Alliance, Kenichi stood in the middle of the room, glancing around at his opponents. 2 of them circled around Kenichi, each poised to strike. Kenichi slowly shifted himself, always changing his blind spot as much as possible. In his hands was another weapon that he had yet to truly use against an opponent, the wooden 3-sectional staff. Though he had no problem while using the sword, he had already told Shigure that he will either use a wooden sword or a sword made by her for him. That's why even after learning sword style from Shigure, Kenichi hadn't used it much. Suddenly, Takeda rushed forward, his fist up towards his chest as he went to engage Kenichi. Tsuji charged forward along with him, utilizing the Kappa steps, sliding forwards towards Kenichi from behind. Kenichi swiftly spun his staff around his body, preventing both opponents from easily closing in. Quickly keeping it rotating, Kenichi struck with his staff towards Takeda, who managed to dodge it but was unable to go forward. "Gotcha!" exclaimed Tsuji as he tried to punch Kenichi, only for him to duck under it and back kick him in the chin. Tsuji managed to sway away just in time but felt his brain get rattled a bit. With a butterfly kick, Kenichi maneuvered himself so he was facing both opponents, quickly retracting the staff so he held all three of them in one hand. Takeda looked at Tsuji with a glance before charging in once more, weaving his body as he did so. Suddenly, Kenichi thrust his weapon out, the staff extending towards Takeda. Takeda's eyes widened as he quickly put his guard up. The staff impacted Takeda's arms, stinging his arms as he stepped back. Tsuji rushed in, hoping to catch Kenichi off tempo. Tsuji then had to put both hands up as Kenichi spun in the air, the staff whistling along with him before it aimed for his head. "Ah, blocka!" exclaimed Tsuji. Had managed to block the attack to his cranium but had miscalculated the joints of the three-sectional staff. The middle part had impacted on his arms, but the last section continued its momentum and struck Tsuji in the back of the head. "Chance!" roared Tsuji as he ran forward undeterred. Kenichi used the momentum from Takeda's hit to rotate with it and struck Tsuji in the ribs. Tsuji winced as the sectional staff was about to wrap around him, then grabbed the last staff as it came back. His other hand grabbed another part of the staff, causing Kenichi to be stuck. Before Kenichi could force Tsuji to let go, Takeda had jumped off of Tsuji's shoulders and tried to land a meteor straight punch to Kenichi's jaw. Kenichi quickly grabbed the attacking fist and threw Takeda into the matted floor, causing Takeda to cough in pain. Kenichi flipped over Takeda and threw him once more into a wall while dodging Tsuji's amateurish attempts to hitting Kenichi with a weapon. "Ha! Let's see how you OW," winced Tsuji as he swung the weapon like a flail, only to hit his head again with the weapon at the end of one of his swings. The weapon had wrapped around his head and hit him. Kenichi used this to his advantage, sliding in and elbowing Tsuji in the chest. "Alright, that's enough," shouted Sakaki. "Kenichi, you lose again." "Why doesn't it feel like he lost?" groaned Takeda as he picked himself up. "Because he's supposed to learn how to use weapons properly," said Sakaki. "That's what he promised to Shigeru, and she also gave me strict instructions that Kenichi has to learn to use it, and that means not losing it so easily and resorting to empty hand techniques, where he's had more practice with. This also helps doubles as practice against fighting weapons for you all." As Tsuji and Takeda propped themselves up, Sakaki looked around Shinpaku Base to admire the architecture that Naijima had placed in it. Nyo was actually sparing with Renka while Siko had decided to take on Kazara and few other Valkyries, though he was honestly surprised by the improvements of these girls. Freya wasn't at the base but had opted to return to her grandfather's dojo to get some advice. It was rather hard for Freya to do so, but the fact was that her grandfather, besides being eccentric, was a powerful person to learn from. Chapter 204, Underground Arena Part 1. Sakaki continued to look around, hearing Tibetan chants coming out from the room. Siegfried had yet to leave his room and was still spinning on a boulder. In another section was a row of computers with other members of Shinpaku using them, gathering information off the web. And of course, at one corner, sat Naijima on his throne, though he was on his computer too. Yuma was still absent, as he had decided to follow Tsuji's choice and train in the mountains for a bit. How do I make it more interesting?" pondered Sakaki. He allowed himself to wallow in the memories of his past for a bit when Kenichi said, "Yo, master. If I really have to fight, why don't we go to the underground arena? At least there I will not worry about hurting them while training as well." Underground arena. That's a great idea. "Everyone stop what you are doing," shouted Sakaki, causing everyone to actually stop. "I got a class assignment for you all. We are gonna go on a little trip." "Hey! We really going to the underground arena?" asked Yukita, who just came to the base after getting beaten then treated by Akasame. "Of course, it's a surefire method to make you guys improve," stated Sakaki. A few hours later. "Welcome to the underground duel arena, where anything can happen. The rules there are few to none. No protection gear, just a pure, all-out brawl. In this place anything can happen," shouted an announcer as people cheered. "Ah, it's been more than a year since we last came here." "Right, Kenichi?" Naijima asked. "Right. This place was where I learned most of my fighting style before I went to Ryozanpaku," Kenichi said. "I don't understand the reason for you suggesting this place," Kenichi asked Siko as she looked around the underground arena where she learned how to control. It's better than sparring with each other where we sometimes hold back to not injure our friends, Kenichi replied as he, Siko, Mio, Kazara, Takeda, Tsuji, and Yukita stood in the entryway of the underground arena. Siegfried decided not to come, as he was still training via spinning while Renka was called by Kensei Ma, who decided to train her daughter and spend some time with her. This place is good to train, declared Sakaki before adding in a whisper, and to get me some extra spending money. Gah, don't worry, we will be here to watch, laughed James Sheena, who had decided to accompany them on a little trip. Anyways, boy, I expect you to win. I will give you permission to take off the restraints. Yes, master, saluted Takeda. I am feeling a little whelmed, said Yukita. I think I will pass on this. Relax, Yukita, you have been training under Master Akasame for almost 2 months now, and with your original martial arts knowledge you can take on at least 2 to 3 guys. So try to battle once to get a feel of how martial artists fight, otherwise all that training would be useless, said Kenichi. You are right about that. Okay, I will try, Yukita said, nodding his head in acceptance as they entered inside. Holy shit, that person in the sunglasses is Sakaki, shouted one passerby, who had taken a random glance before doing a double take. It's the 100th Dan Karate Master, run for your lives, screamed another as a crowd began to flee. Isn't that guy with mustache James Shiba, the god of destruction of underground boxing? Why is he here? Run! Hey, so you have returned, Master Sakaki grinned, a middle-aged man wearing a white suit, his face adorned with an evil smirk. Oh, haven't seen you for a long time, boss, smirked Sakaki back, surprised to see you are still alive. Oh god, looks like we will be thrown out, thought Yukita. Suddenly the boss got on his knees crying while crawling back, begging Sakaki to not ruin his business. While this drama was going on, Kenichi's eyes roam around all the underground arenas as if finding someone, but he couldn't find that person. Are you looking for someone, Kenichi? Asked Takeda. Not really, I just thought that she would be here, that's all, replied Kenichi as he thought maybe she is training under her master for DOFD tournament. Relax, boss, I am not going to fight. Instead, I am on supervising duty today. Kids, meet the boss who will help you get your fights, stated Sakaki. Suddenly, death glares from all sorts of fighters pinned down on the disciple group, causing some of them to squirm a little. Soon laugh filled the arena as they didn't expect much from them, but some of them were still looking at them, or more specifically at Naijima. Hey, look at that kid with weird ears, isn't he the alien who was always with Sun Wukong and Falcon? Someone pointed out. Yes, he is. Hey, kid, where are those two? I haven't seen them for more than a year, asked another man. They went to America to challenge the people there, lied Naijima, as neither Kenichi nor Siko wanted to let people know who they were, so he decided to help them. Oh, so that's the reason. Here, I thought that maybe they were from the group of these disciples. What a disappointment, said the man who first found Naijima. This obviously ticked Tsuji and Kazara off and was eager to prove them wrong. Soon enough matches were prepared for them all. While Tsuji, Kazara, and Takeda were excited as they were called into different rings, Yukita was quivering as he was in the ring. Come on, I have to do this. Yukita said to himself, trying to cheer himself up. Oi, kid, pay attention, the match started, lectured Sakaki. Yukita snapped his attention forwards just to see a flying knee to his face from his opponent. Oh, crap, shouted Yukita as he ducked under the knee, rolling away from his opponent. What's wrong, brat, scared? Sneered the man, just stand still, and I will send you flying to a world of dreams, in the hospital. The man launched a barrage of attacks, which Yukita kept dodging. It was then that Yukita noticed something peculiar. Why does my opponent, so much slower than Master Akasame's machine? Chapter 205, Underground Arena Part 2. The man launched a barrage of attacks, which Yukita kept dodging. It was then that Yukita noticed something peculiar. Why does my opponent so much slower than Master Akasame's machine, thought Yukita, referring to the time when he practiced on Master Akasame's machine. Ugh, stop dodging, cried out the man as he kept missing. He then tried to punch Yukita but overstepped it too much. Yukita snapped back into reality and reacted, grabbing the man's wrist with both hands. Yukita then turned his body and, using his back as a support, throws the man onto the ground. This way he not only used jujitsu but added a little judo in it as well. Oh, and a surprise takedown from Childu. "Will this be the match?" shouted an announcer. Yukita firmly grasped the arm, not allowing his opponent any opportunity. Soon, the man tapped out, allowing Yukita to win. "See Yukita, you did it," cheered Kenichi as Yukita got back to the corner. "Yeah. I guess I did," smiled Yukita. "Have more confy." "Yukita duck," shouted Kenichi. Yukita instinctively obeyed just to dodge an attack. Hey, don't distracted," said Sakaki as he sipped on his beer the boss had brought for him. "You four are going to be doing continuous matches until you forfeit, whether by choice or knockout." "You said one battle only," cried Yukita. "Yeah, that is one battle, just continuous matches. I will let you out if you seem really tired, but not before that. Come on, I hear you say that you didn't want to be left behind. Isn't that the reason you came to Akasane to learn? If you don't do this, you will really be left behind." The other three are already past their second match. Yukita's ears perked up to hear that it was true. Child T, Takeda, had just finished his third fight, Child K, Kazara, was in the middle of her third, and Child S, Suji, was beginning his third fight. Yukita grit his teeth as he turned to face his opponent, this time determined visage painted onto his face. With a roar, Yukita charged forward. "Erg, that was tiring," groaned Yukita as he held an ice pack to his head, though he felt proud of himself. He had managed to win 3 fights before losing the 4th one. "Yeah, but it gave us a lot of experience," grinned Kazara, who winced as she gently poked her thigh. She had 5 consecutive wins before she decided to stop. Her legs were feeling a bit sore. Her last match had been challenging. Kenichi went close to her to ask about her condition, and only when she insistently said that she was fine did Kenichi let go of the matter. "Oomph, I want to go up again," pouted Suji. His face was rather bruised. He had won 4 matches and tied his 5th match with a double knockout. Takeda was still continuing his 6th match, though he was very tired now. He narrowly won with an uppercut after ducking from his opponent's punch before calling it quits for now. "Hey, Kenichi is going up," noted Kazara, getting Yukita and Suji's attention. Indeed, Kenichi was now up on the stage, holding his 3 seasonal staff. "It's good that you decided to not fight Siko," said Kenichi. "Of course, unlike you I don't have to train in a new weapon, and once I go up on the stage everyone will recognize me after seeing my attacks," stated Siko. "Okay, now listen, you can't take the restraints off. They are to train your body and control excessive strength and always use weapon, you get it," stated Sakaki. "Yes, Master Sakaki," said Kenichi and entered the stage. 6 battles later, Kenichi was lightly panting, mostly because his restraints have cut back most of his movement and power. Then his next opponent dove into the ring. He had sustained 2 scratches, all because he didn't want to use any other body part except the weapon to beat his opponent and intentionally left himself open so as to end the fight as early as possible. Nyo, Siko, and even Kazara were cheering him on, making him smile sometimes in between the battles. Since it was Kenichi's idea to come to the underground arena, Sakaki was proud of him as he didn't needed to think how to earn money for quite some time. Kenichi whipped out his staff, blocking his opponent's wooden sword slash. Then, in the same motion, he trapped the sword within both sections of his staff. His opponent struggled, trying to tug his sword away, and he got more irritated when he looked at Kenichi's cocky smirk, making him pull the sword back with full strength. Kenichi's smirk became wide as he suddenly opened both his sides, allowing the man to regain his weapon. However, the man had not expected his weapon to be released so easily and lost his balance. Kenichi swiftly spun his 3-sectional staff around his body to gain more momentum, then slammed it onto his head, knocking him out cold as blood starts to leak out through his head. "And Childa wins another match," shouted the announcer. "Can anybody stop his winning streak?" Looks like expert-level fighters want a piece of him. Interesting, maybe he will get a little real practice out of them, thought Sakaki. Suddenly a man wearing white gi jumped into the ring, eager to fight Kenichi. "I am Masaru Abiki and I will beat you," said the man in white gi. Kenichi looked at the man posing in front of him with his fist in front of him. Suddenly the man jumped towards him with a right roundhouse kick while in the air. Kenichi took 2 steps to the back, dodging the right kick, and 1 more step backward to dodge the left kick, but Masaru wasn't done. Meisero swiftly withdrew his right leg while still in the air and lashed out once more, this time forcing Kenichi to use his 3-section staff to block it. He is skilled, noted Takeda as he finished up his water. Yeah, it takes a lot of balance and skill to launch all those kicks. Especially a variety too. Chapter 206, Underground Arena Part 3. He is skilled, noted Takeda as he finished up his water. Yeah, it takes a lot of balance and skill to launch all those kicks. Especially a variety too, nodded Kazara, her legs feeling a bit better. Think Kenichi's met his match, asked Tsuji as he observed the fight. You kidding right? Did you forget about him beating Tenmonli, who was a master-class martial artist, said Yukita. Yeah, but the situation was different at that time. He is wearing more restraints and is using a weapon which he never used before, said Tsuji. Not possible, he is what you call genius in combat, so the more he fights the more strong he becomes, stated Naijima. The four of them blinked before remembering that Kenichi isn't a normal person like them. The more he continues to fight the more strong he will become. An expert class, observed Mio from the side of the ring. Yes, he is. Siko started nodding his head. Though only roughly, kinda on the low side of it, but yeah, acknowledged Sakaki. Kenichi struggled to keep up with Meisero because of his fast speed. The man, despite his bloated ego, knew how to fight at the very least. This made Kenichi excited due to getting a chance of fighting someone who could push him a little. Wata! Screamed Meisero as he launched a crushing blow towards Kenichi, who blocked it with his staff but was pushed back 2 steps because of the power behind the kick. How very soon I will break that weapon of yours, then you will become useless, so you might as well give up, boasted Meisero, posing once more with his fist up in front of him. No way you will be able to fight without your precious weapon. He was greeted with one part of the staff to his face, followed by the 2 other parts to his face and blow on the head. I can't believe he actually took his eyes off his opponent, snickered Kazara as Meisero staggered backward with his nose bleeding while a slight bump appearing on his head. You are too cocky for your own good, said Kenichi as he let go of the 3-section staff so as to show this man who he was dealing with. Meisero, seeing it as an opportunity, rushed towards Kenichi only to take a front kick to the chest followed by a knee to the face and elbow to the head. His already bleeding nose became a waterfall while the bump on his head had a new friend right beside him. Gah, what the hell, I thought you didn't know how to fight without a weapon, groaned Meisero. Would I have let go of the weapon if I didn't know how to fight without one? Kenichi pointed out as he blocked a fist from Meisero and threw him on the ground. Meisero quickly got up just in time to take Kenichi's roundhouse kick to his face. As Meisero flew backward, his last scream before falling unconscious could be heard. The ring fell silent as the man laid unconscious on the ring. Well, that ended fast, snickered Naijima as Kenichi once again picked up his weapon to continue the matches. It was only after the 14th match that his 3-section staff broke, so he decided to end it. Without his weapon, there was no real point in continuing. Not to mention, after continuously fighting with many expert class, he was getting way much attention than he wanted. To tell the truth, he was getting pressurized for 3 matches straight, and he won them only because of his various strategies and his ki helping him to reduce the stress on his body. Well, that was a good experience, clapped Sakaki. Let's get you brats home. I have got some business to get to. And then fine, said Mo before putting her hand out, but first, the money. What money? Said Sakaki innocently, trying not to break out in cold sweat. After a few seconds of Mil glaring, Sakaki reluctantly passed all the money he gained from betting on the matches. After a short lecture about betting, Mil gave him 50% PF the cut, which was more than enough for him to spend on what he wanted. The rest would be going to the budget for Ryo Zanpaku. Shiba laughed as he had all his money for himself and some for Takeda. Seeing Mil behave like this, Kenichi couldn't help but shake his head. He had already given a 5% share of Gauche Industries to each of his girlfriend, from which they would get a monthly dividend of millions, but she still behaves like this. At first, none of them except Siko wanted to take them, but after Siko explained the benefits that being his girlfriend entails and it is proof of him trusting them with so much, they decided to take it. Shigeru also accepted the shares without any problems, but she didn't know what their use was and only took them as a gift from Kenichi. It was only after when Mil explained what it was did she learned about it and kissed Kenichi as a thank you. On a certain island. Carlo Diego, the smiling steel fist, had woken up in a luxurious bedroom. Whistling, he headed towards the showers and began to strip off all his clothes except his mask, to which he never took off. The mask was a custom job that he himself did, the cloth made with special materials. It could be washed with the face soap that he used, and even if he needed to deep clean the mask, he had several methods for it. "Because it's Diego quality," said Diego to no one in general as he finished washing his mask. Yet somehow, whenever someone heard him yell out this phrase, they swore they could somehow hear it all in caps. Since he had been training his disciple just until yesterday, he had decided to take a rest and enjoy his day today. Soon enough he was sitting on a chair out on the balcony, enjoying breakfast as he looked through the news, taking in the scene before him. Soon, the D would be held here and he as the host, would bring entertainment to the world. Chapter 207, Invitation Letter. Since he had been training his disciple just until yesterday, he had decided to take a rest and enjoy his day today. Soon enough he was sitting on a chair out on the balcony, enjoying breakfast as he looked through the news, taking in the scene before him. Soon, the D would be held here and he as the host, would bring entertainment to the world. The construction of the arena was already done, the invites sent out as well. "Sir, we have received confirmations from most participants that you have invited," said Diego's secretary. Excellent. "Is there someone that has yet to reply or hasn't received it yet?" asked Diego. There was one that rejected the invitation. "The Tenchi Mushin Ryu," said secretary nervously. "Wait. Why?" asked Diego with a frown. He was really hoping that they would come. They would have been excellent entertainment material. They said that they have a child to take care of, couldn't afford to leave her behind. Nor did they want to take her here, the secretary replied. "Did you tell them that we have the latest state-of-the-art nursery, equipped with the finest toys and lessons, all with a 24-hour guard and one of the world's best babysitters, all of them Diego quality approved?" asked Diego, stressing his name. They really did such a thing, as Diego insisted it. He wanted nothing left to chance. "Yes, sir, but they insisted that they wanted to devote their time to their family and home," gulped the secretary. Diego was silent for a minute, standing up and staring out into the scenery before closing his eyes. The secretary himself was getting nervous, as he didn't want to be near Diego in case the smiling steel fist reverted into angry iron fist. "Fine, go down to the next list. We will have to pull from the reserves. Or, we could get some more Yomi members in here. Oh wait, I have another idea. Let me write this down and send it out. This will be even more fun," Diego said with excitement. The secretary sighed in relief, knowing that he would not have to order new furniture. Truth be told, Diego had been very disappointed that the Tenchi Mushin Ryu had rejected the offer, but he understood why. The family was important, after all. And not to mention, they would be bringing their child where vast majority, or rather 99% of the audience had their hands in something illegal and were dangerous. Despite their security, if one of them managed to hire someone to kidnap their daughter and hold her hostage, then they would have control over the parents. Then they could control how the matches went, limiting the fighter's ability. That would not be Diego quality. Of course, Diego would have dealt with such poisonous acts in the line of entertainment, but it was still a possibility. He did not need entertainers that would go into the fight without Diego quality energy. He quickly jotted down his invitation and had it sent via express. If they agreed to come, then the D would become an even bigger spectacle. Speaking of which, did those two accept it? Asked Diego as he finished his letter, giving it to his secretary. Yes, sir, the latter has replied saying they will be coming with the former, the secretary replied. Excellent. Grinned Diego, no matter what, even if they are possible cannon fodder, as long as they put up a Diego quality show, then it will be fun. At Ryo Zanpaku. Are you serious? We got invited to a southern island. Myo asked with her eyes sparkling. Ho ho ho. That's right, they invited all of us, replied Elder Hayato. Well, it's good, we haven't been on a trip for a long time, and with this Shizuo-san we'll also get to enjoy fresh air, said Sakaki. That's the right, mother has left Ryo Zanpaku since the day she entered. With this we will be going on a trip together for the first time, said Myo. Yes, Mule my baby, you are right. I was getting irritated. Not being able to go out on my own, said Shizuha. That was for your own safety. Right now you're strong enough to take on a master class martial artist. With one more month you will regain the strength you had in your prime, Akasame said. Yeah, I know. Shizuha said. If only father was here, then it would have become a family trip, Mio stated. Hearing that, everyone became silent as they didn't know what to say to Mio to cheer her up. It is a family trip, Mio. Everyone in Ryo Zanpaku is a family, it's just the family isn't complete for now, but it will become complete after some time, I know that, said Kenichi with a smile. Yes, it is, thank you, Kenichi, said Mio as she hugged Kenichi right in front of Elder, making him mad, but he couldn't show it as that was the punishment Mio had decided for the Elder to not tell her about her mother. Taking out two birds with one stone. By the way, Elder, even the hotel stay is free. This is really wonderful. Who was the one who sent out the request for us? Asked Kenichi, playing along with the script. Neither of us did that. It was an invitation sent by them to us, replied Sakaki. Then who sent us the invitation? Asked Mio. About that. It was from Yami, replied Elder. Who? Exclaimed Mio in shock, but Kenichi was silent. You aren't shocked, Kenichi? Asked Akasame. Free hotel stays at a southern island, but not a reward. I guessed it wasn't anything good, replied Kenichi. I am 200% sure that it's a trap, Mio stated. You are almost right, but we still have to go, replied Elder Hayato. Okay. I don't have any problems while playing along, but what is the reason for calling us to the island? Surely you all aren't just going for free food and free stay, asked Kenichi. Of course not. The invitation has clearly stated that island will be holding a martial art competition, and please bring Ryo Zanpaku's disciple for the event. Chapter 208, Going to the Southern Island. Of course not. The invitation has clearly stated that island will be holding a martial art competition, and please bring Ryo Zanpaku's disciple for the event. In other words, YOMI members will be participating in it as well, and they will fight fair and square on the stage. Kensei-ma replied. Ordinary fighters can join as well? Mio asked. Of course. Even a nameless fighter can show off their skill at this tournament. D, Desperate Fight of Disciples, is limited to those fighters who are under 20, and it is a tradition in the martial art world, explained Sakaki. They even invited masters like us. They sure have some guts. If they dare to plot something against us, said Sakaki. Then let us give them one hell of a show, said the masters together. But before we go, you guys should have your end term exams so that you won't have any problem with it, Elder Hayato said. Sure, we will do that, said Kenichi, nodding his head. But on another note, do we have a plan we are gonna follow? Asked Mio. Ah yes we do, replied Akasame. It's called Enjoy the Mood of the Southern Islands first, then make a big mess and leave, explained Elder. Hey. Shizuha laughed after hearing that plan while Mio was stunned silent. For next few days Kenichi, Mo, and Siko applied for the end-term exam in advance. She got to know about the Southern Island trip from Mo, while she was also told by her father to go there as their representative, hence the Ryo Zanpaku decided to take Siko along since she would be going there even if they didn't want to take her with them. Seeing these four give advance exam, the others decided to do so as well. Except for Takeda and Yukita, the rest were good in their studies, but since Yukita started learning under Master Akasame, there was no way he could dodge studies, hence he had to practice very hard to pass the exam, and since Yukita was doing it, Takeda also studied for the exam and gave the paper in advance on Nijima's insistence, but they didn't get to know the reason behind it until 2 days after the exams. Few more days had passed without a peep from Nijima, making the residents believe that he doesn't know about the competition, but Kenichi knew better. Soon, they were all walking to where Ryo Zanpaku's handcrafted boat was waiting at the pier, where they would take it to the island. Noir the cat was being carried by Mio, while Siko, who was walking beside her, was playing with the cat. She didn't want to leave him behind, and hiring someone to cat sit for Noir wasn't an option. Plus Noir knew how to defend itself thanks to Takamaru, and so it was decided that they would take him with them. However, waiting at the pier was a surprise to all of the Ryo Zanpaku masters. Kiki, did you think that you would be leaving us behind? Laughed Nijima as he and the rest of the Shinpaku Alliance members were there waiting.
Surprisingly, even Natsu and Renka were also there with them.
Yeah, you didn't think we went to the underground arena to train and not come to this D, shouted Takeda, gesturing to himself, Kazara, Tsuji, and Yukita, who nodded in reply. I trained with my grandfather once more to throw myself into the world of martial arts, rediscovering myself in the process, stated Kaname as she twirled her staff around. After what Ryozanpaku's weapons master had said, I followed her advice and became master of my own body with my staff as a true extension of my body. This is the perfect opportunity to spread the word of combat sumo, exclaimed Thor. As a martial artist, I cannot let this chance get away. This is one of the biggest events in the world of martial arts. How could I know about it and not want to come? Cheered Renka. I am going to show the world what the Phoenix Alliance can do. I got information that my master may be on that island. I am going to drag him back home to have him finish up training me. Plus Keat also wants to meet him, said Natsu, shrugging his shoulders. That's all in good reasons, but first, how did you even get to know about D? And the second thing is the D is an invitation exclusive offer. If you wanted to fight, you would have to prove in some way that you are directly under Ryozanpaku. Only my daughter, my brother's disciple, and Yukita, who's Akasame's disciple, could have any standing on that. Frown Kensei, just saying your group is allied with us gives no real standings. Keek, I have the answer for both things right here, cackled Naijima. Oh? Then what is it? Asked Akasame. Because yours truly, the Shinpaku Alliance, have been invited to the D, cackled Naijima as he pulled out an invite with the Shinpaku Alliance's name on it. Everyone's jaw dropped as they saw the legitimate invite, complete with Diego's signature. How, was the question ringing through everyone's mind except Apachai, who was just clapping. We earned enough rep to get his attention, giggled Naijima, with the defeat of the Zanshin Taisha Ryu and Spark of Yomi, not to mention Ogata mentioning our name with Kenichi's. I am guessing Diego Carlo thought we were entertainment material. Not to mention after continuous investments the Shinpaku Alliance is quite rich, Naijima added mentally. So you gonna take us to the island with you? Grinned Naijima. Elder Hayato closed his eyes, taking a deep breath while he did so. After what seemed to be hours when in reality was just a few minutes, Elder Hayato opened his eyes once more. He jumped over all of them, standing in front of the boat now. He then raised his hand up, having it positioned knife hand strike, and slashed the ground instantly. There was a line in between the Shinpaku Alliance and the boat. Please understand that during this time, we will not be able to protect you all. However, if you are determined to come, step forth beyond this line. Come if you are not afraid of what lies beyond this point. Chapter 209, Taking Along the Shinpaku Alliance. Please understand that during this time, we will not be able to protect you all. However, if you are determined to come, step forth beyond this line. Come if you are not afraid of what lies beyond this point, declared Elder Hayato with a firm but gentle tone. Everyone in the Shinpaku Alliance hesitated at this, including Naijima. Even though this would be a perfect opportunity to increase the rep of the Shinpaku Alliance, the danger involved was much higher than anything they had done before. Don't feel pressured, reassured Elder Hayato. Even if the Shinpaku Alliance doesn't show, I am sure YAMI will not care. They are only interested in those who have immersed themselves in the underground world martial arts. At most, they will give you a passing glance, as they are more focused on Ryozanpaku and Kenichi. Suddenly a foot stepped over the line, the impact of the foot slamming down over the line echoing the pier. Everyone looked over to see Mizunuma had been the first one to do so. I won't run away, stuttered Mizunuma, slowly gaining strength in his voice. My master, Alan Sabishi, was attacked and set to a coma just to protect me. I want strength to stand by my beliefs, like Kenichi and everyone else does. Even though I am the weakest one out of all of us, I still want to step into this world. His legs were shaking as he declared this, but nobody mocked him. Instead, his courage was what boosted the morale of everybody else. I can't be shown up like this. It's not manly if I don't step up, grinned Tsuji. Tsuji slammed his foot forward, eager to join in the fight. This is going to be the Shinpaku Alliance's big debut. There's no way I can't miss this, declared Naijima as he stepped forward. La, if my demon lord wants to go, then I, as his loyal servant, will go with him, sang Siegfried as he too stepped forward. Thanks to Kenichi's idea, Naijima didn't have to summon him from halfway across the globe. Matsui, who designated flagbearer of the Shinpaku alliance, strode forward without hesitation. "Ah, if my friends are going, so am I," shouted Thor as he stepped forward. "Kanamine and I trained our ass, so no way we are going to miss this," smirked Kazara as she and Kaname stepped forward. Shiratori and Chisato, being Kazara's shadow, also stepped forth. "I have been fighting day and night to try to catch up to Kenichi. Even if we are miles apart in terms of skill, I am willing to go the distance. This tournament will help me catch up," said Takeda as he stepped forward. Renka and Natsu said nothing as they were already immersed into the underground world, but stepped forward anyway. Yukita was left shaking, not knowing what to do. Sure, he had also gone through hellish training, finding a master and learning new judo moves from video games that he got from Najima, but was it enough? He knew that he had a lot of catching up to do. Could he do it? His mind flashed back to during his spar against Tsuji, Takeda, and Kenichi. Yukita took a deep breath. If Mizunuma was willing to step forward, then why couldn't he? With that, he took his step forward. The rest of the Shinpaku alliance was hesitant to step forward due to multiple reasons. The Valkyries other than Chisato all attended a private school that was rather strict about attendance, unlike Koryo High. Kimoto and Kamioka were a bit hesitant as they were not fighters. Instead, Najima instructed them to stay back to watch over the Shinpaku alliance base while they were gone and continue information gathering on the internet. Thankful for that opportunity, they quickly left to do so. So you all insist on coming," said Elder Hayato stroking his beard. "Kenichi, you certainly have some good friends." "Yeah, I do," smiled Kenichi. Minutes later, and they were all on the boat with Sakaki and Apachai deciding to be the engine power for the trip. "So, Kimoto and Kamioka aren't coming?" asked Kenichi to Najima while Siko and Myo were talking with her mother. "I decided it would be better," whispered Najima back. "They wanted to come, but it would be very risky to bring non-martial artists along. It would be better to put that time into helping expand Shinpaku." "Speaking of that," said Kenichi, glancing at Natsu, who was leaning against a wall alone, "why is Natsu here? Wouldn't he be unwilling to leave his little sister alone for so long?" "Kekakek, that's been covered," smirked Najima. "He asked your parents if she could stay with them while he was on a trip, and they agreed. Also, thanks to me, he has hired bodyguards to watch over her." Elsewhere. In another location at a hospital, Kanosho was inside a room, wearing nothing but briefs and sensor nodes while being studied. He was being tested for his reflexes and was doing exceptionally well. The doctors there who majored in sports science were ecstatic at such a test subject while being accompanied by Ogata and Hongo themselves. Hongo was irritated that they were here, stating that such toys would be unable to grasp a true martial artist's ability. Though curiously, he was still wearing shades even in the middle of a darkened room. Ogata tried to placate him, saying that it was ordered from the top to see if they could get some. "And the fact that those two are allowed to participate in DFD, is that also from the top?" asked Hongo. "Ah, if you were talking about Stanley twins, Castor and Pollux, Castor's master is the one to blame for that. If I suggested holding them back, well, you know how that person is. He loves to be flashy," chuckled Ogata. It was then that Kanosho managed to stick himself onto the windows where they were viewing him. Hey, master. That DFD is the freestyle tournament for those under 20 years old to fight, right? I wanna enter." Chapter 210, Show going to Southern Island. It was then that Kanosho managed to stick himself onto the windows where they were viewing him. Hey, master. That DFD is the freestyle tournament for those under 20 years old to fight, right? I wanna enter. Just get back to the arena, it's better if you don't enter in such a show, commanded Hongo. But that guy's been called in, right? Asked Sho, Ryo Zanpaku's #1 disciple, Kenichi Shirahama. It was then that Kanosho did something completely unexpected of his behavior, surprising even his master. After letting go of the edges of the window, flipping back to the ground, he actually bowed to Hongo, his back low enough to make a 45-degree angle. "Master, please let me join the tournament or at least view it," said Kanosho. Hongo blinked in surprise, knowing the boy's nature and how out of place this was. "You are not doing this just to see that girl you have been raving about, are you?" asked Hongo suspiciously. Though Kano was a martial artist, he was still a teenage boy with hormones.
Wait. No, exclaimed Sho, waving his hands in a panic. Well, alright, that might be 20% of why. The other 80% is to see what type of man Kenichi Shirahama is. Last time I couldn't even study him carefully. Hongo gave a small hum as he pondered about Sho's request.
His mind did muse if Sho swung that way, but he threw that idea out, considering how he kept talking about the girl.
Somehow, this boy had gotten Sho's full attention.
He absent-mindedly raised his hand to touch the vertical scar that his rival Sakaki had given him. Perhaps here was rival that could push Sho further, as Sakaki did for him. Actually, I was going to suggest that, commented Ogata, Ryo Zanpaku's disciple really is something. As we all sought his skills for ourselves, he bested our combined disciples, though he didn't fight them directly, but none of them were able to stop him for even few seconds. This shows that none of our disciples will be able to win against him in one-on-one inch.
A fight does not consist of only power and skill, retorted Hongo.
Yes, but it would still do wonders for them to observe him at the very least.
They could all learn something just by watching him.
I mean, you have to also accept the fact that he is way more talented than any of our disciples, as he had created two different fighting styles, one for hands and one for legs. According to Demon His Fist, his disciple couldn't even stand against him for a full minute before he was defeated, though he claims that his own disciple was not very strong and can easily raise another one. I have already spoken to other members of YAMI about letting YOMI at least take a trip to the D of D to see how Ryo Zanpaku's disciple fights. I mean, none of them were really happy after getting bested by one Kenichi Shirahama and have been training their ass off. Ogata took a small breath before continuing. Agard Jumsai, Alexander Gator, Makumo Kushinada, and Jisei Ro have already agreed to let their disciples head to the tournament, though only to view, not fight. All the disciples were eager to watch Kenichi Shirahama in action, mostly because of the impact he left on them. No matter how much they train, they can't forget about the fact that even with all of them working together, they couldn't stop a single person. I myself plan to have my disciples to go and watch. The only one who hasn't said anything in one Shadow himself, but he will also most likely send his disciples, so as he had clearly shown interest in Kenichi Shirahama and would like his disciple to know him as well. Hongo merely pondered about this once more while telling the doctors to raise the pace, switch on the rubber bullets and electric shock, and lower the oxygen levels.
After quickly complying with the orders, the doctors were amazed to see Sho's brainwaves, heart rate, and other data skyrocket to a point that it couldn't be normal.
Sho, if you can endure this for 20 minutes, you have my permission to go with the other members of YOMI to view only.
Hayami and Sita will be accompanying you as usual, said Hongo, giving his condition.
Hi!
Saluted Sho as he grinned, adrenaline rushing through his body.
An hour later, Sho was walking with Hongo to a helicopter, much to his distaste. He preferred airplanes, as they looked so much smoother.
Is there something you would like to add? Asked Hongo.
Nothing like that, I was just thinking about Kenichi Shirahama. I have researched him, but he doesn't have any family history in martial arts.
Though his mother is half American, but even from that side I couldn't find anything noteworthy, said Sho.
Then he must be a prodigy, as Ogata said. It does happen in common families. One of my old rivals was born from a nondescript family, and yet his skills and ability to analyze moves were impressive.
If not for his sickness, I might have lost against him.
Do not dwell on what family he is from, focus on becoming stronger than him, explained Hongo.
Hi!
Sho saluted, some of the burden slowly falling off his shoulder. So does that mean?
Yes, you can go, sighed Hongo.
Yata cheered Sho as the helicopter lifted off. Soon, Ryo Zanpaku's boat had arrived at their destination, Fortuna's private island, where D of D would be held. Among the private pier were rather large cruise ships that could hold up to 5,000 passengers, but no guards or personnel on the pier at all.
Why is it so empty? Asked Matsui as the boat was tied to the dock.
Due to the terrain, explained Akasame, it's an easily defendable terrain that's hard to attack, so they feel no need to post guards here. This pier is the only place to dock, Shigeru continued as Takamaro hopped onto her shoulder.
Man, this guy really has a lot of money.
That wraps up this part of What If Martial Artist Reborn is Kenichi Shirahama.
Thanks so much for listening.
As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Quick reminder. The series What If Reborn in Highschool DxD is a Lucifuge and What If a Venerated Soul Reincarnated in Danmachi world will be going on hold soon, since we've nearly caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these 3 fanfics. What if creating the strongest Strawhat crew by reading manga? What if Reincarnated in Bleach as Toshiro Hitsugaya? What if hosting Q&A in One Piece world? Please vote in the poll and let me know which 2 stories you'd like to see next. I'll take the top 2 picks and start working on those series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.